and happy Sunday. This is Kelly with IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, and today is Sunday, December the 15th. We are less than 2 weeks away from Christmas. Actually, we are 10 days away from Christmas, so that is less than 2 weeks. Alyssa has been having a countdown. She is ready. Bo knows something's going on, but she hasn't figured out yet what it is. But anyway, hello and happy Sunday, everybody. I hope y'all are having a great week. Karen and I got a little wet walking today. It is a little damp in East Tennessee today, and you may be able to hear the traffic going by. You might be able to hear the water, but anyway, it's okay. It's okay. We got our walk in, so everything is good. We're going to do quick news at the beginning as soon as everybody hops on here. And then we're going to go super fast through the first half of this chat, which is not going to be like the whole first half. Hello, John from Home Base, and hello, Mary from Pittsburgh. It won't be the whole first half. It'll be like a first fourth or something, because everybody just wants to know about the program updates and about the app updates and how to find everything. So we're going to spend most of our time talking about that today. And hello, Lisa from Arkansas. Very good to see you. But yeah, hello, everybody. I'm glad y'all can't tell that I'm just a tiny bit damp. It's funny, like we both had rain jackets on, but my shirt is just a little bit damp, so I've had to turn the heat on because I'm cold. I'm a little bit wet. Let's see, and hello, Carol Lou. Thank you very much. This is a hand-me-down sweatshirt from Casey. Hello, Trish. Good to see you. Hello, Elaine. Hello, Lynn, and hello, Phyllis from California. Good to see you too. Hello, Sarah. It's always lovely to see you. Also, and hello, Hattie, if you are brand new, please say hi and hello. We would love to welcome you. So you'll have to let us know that you're new, because we would love to welcome you. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, that's just youtube.com, search If You Have an Egg. Also say hello. I actually think that there are a couple of comments over on YouTube that I need to go back and answer. Yay! Because y'all hardly ever talk over there. We have a couple of people that chit-chat sometimes, and hello, Marianne, that chit-chat sometimes, but not very often. Yeah. So I would love it if you all would say some things over on YouTube also. We'll see hello, Sherry from Cape Coral, Florida, and hello, Anna. So good to see everyone. And sorry, since my hair is a little bit damp, I'm just going to keep touching it because I can tell where it's damp, even though you all can't. So in case you were a little bit late joining us, we're going to be talking fast tonight, even though I talk fast every night. Only going to cover workshop stuff for the first maybe 15 or so minutes, and probably spend the second half, which will be the second 3 quarters, on the new app updates and answering a bunch of questions that you all have. But Karen and I got a little tiny bit wet when we were walking today, but that's totally fine because you all can't tell how cold I am in my slightly damp sweatshirt. Anyway, let's see. Hello, Kathy. Awesome to see you. So welcome everybody. Again, today is Sunday, and hope there's Carol Ann from New Jersey. Good to see you too. So today is Sunday, December the 15th. We're 10 days away from Christmas. Hopefully y'all are having some success. You're keeping at it, and hopefully the new app updates are helping you with that. Hello, Kim. Awesome to see you. And hello, Scott. Good to see you. How are you feeling? Scott's been a little bit under the weather this week, so how are you feeling, Scott? Hopefully everything is, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully you're feeling better. A couple of news things, and hello, Kathy from, aloha, Kathy from Hawaii. A couple of news things real quick. Today is the start of the new challenge accepted challenge over in the If You Have an Egg Facebook group. Julie is so kind, even during the holidays, to post some kind of a challenge for us every week. And she has a new challenge over there that all revolves around the app updates. Good, Scott. Revolves around the app updates. And kind of, getting back to basics, even with these app updates, just, you'll have to go check that out. So that's over on the If You Have an Egg Facebook group. And again, if you are not already in that group, one of our lovely ladies or gents will post a link to that. I feel confident here soon. We'll post a link for that, but you do have to answer 3 questions for me to be able to let you in. But that is the new challenge accepted challenge. And you're not competing against anybody. There is no winner. You're just competing with yourself. It's something to kind of help you. It's just a daily reminder to help you, kind of just stick with it, especially during the holidays, because it's easy to get sucked into all this holiday stuff and forget to take care of you. So that is totally true. Okay, we'll be answering more questions, lots of questions about the app starting in about 15 minutes from now. But I wanted to show you all that my friend Jody, I have been looking for this high and low, searched high and low. My friend Jody found me a honey nut squash. More about these next week. She only got me 2. We devoured the first one. Another girl here in the showroom and I, Michelle, we love squash. She and I devoured the first one about 3 minutes after I made it. They are teeny tiny, and the honey nut squash, if y'all have been around for any length of time, the last couple of weeks, you know that I have been on the hunt for these. So this is a combination between a delicata squash and a butternut squash, but look how little it is. Look how tiny that is. The skin on these cooks up like a delicata squash, so tender that we ate the skins too. And hello, Sandra from Demon's Ferry. So not going to talk about these puppies tonight. Might talk about these next week, but that is what the little honey nut squash looks like. So excited that she found me some. I hesitated to tell anybody here in East Tennessee, here in Knoxville, I hesitated to tell anybody where Jody found these because I guarantee you by the time I go back to get some, they will be all sold out. So maybe next week if I can find some more, maybe I'll tell y'all then when she got it, where she got them, and I'll show you how Michelle and I cooked it because it was absolutely delicious. Like I said, the first one, gone. It was gone within just a handful of minutes after we cooked it. Okay. So that was a little bit of news from this last week. First thing I need to know, because again, we're going to be moving fast, is who attended an in-person workshop last week. So if you went to an in-person workshop last week or went to a virtual workshop, give me a thumbs up for that. And I see my little thumbs up bubble is working. And yep. And you're sure, Sarah, you're sure it's not available in the Northeast? Because I didn't think I was going to be able to find them here, and Jody found it at a little like Amish market. So yeah, so apparently they're available if you know who to ask. Okay, yep, so lots of thumbs ups for those of you who went to in-person workshops or virtual workshops. And let's see, yep, and Sarah was here with us live. Carolyn went to a workshop, so let's see some hearts. Woo, good, that's working too. We'll see some hearts if you were here with us live last week, or if you did watch later on demand, because I know a lot of you all did. And Scott's thumbs ups. Yep, Marianne is both. Oh, and Sarah's gonna look at Shaw's. Awesome. Melissa was both. I know, because I saw you. And Sandra is all hearts. Okay, bravo stickers to everyone. Oh, let's see. Carol Lou said their Costco had a ton. I wish. Our Costco has 0. And hello, Roberta. Very good to see you. So bravo stickers to everyone who went to an in-person workshop, a virtual workshop, or was here with us last week. Y'all are killing it here on the slide down to December and to the end of the year. So we're going to talk quickly about last week because we have a lot to talk about with the app updates. And I got a lot of great questions this week on that. So last week was chat number 392. This is 393. So if your first question was, how can I see more? You can go back to YouTube and watch 392 other chats plus a whole bunch of videos about other stuff. But last week on chat number 392, we were talking about prepping your no before you go. And I know a lot of us had some challenging holiday stuff last week or have some coming up. So we talked about the fear of missing out, that a lot of times we say, okay, I'll come, or I'll do that for you, or I'll participate, because we're afraid that we're going to miss out on something. And maybe that missing out is a party, maybe it's seeing family and friends, maybe it's just the ability to help somebody else, but there's a lot of FOMO, a lot of fear of missing out. We talked about that some last week. We also talked about taking a breath before you answer somebody. So you don't have to give an immediate answer. It's okay sometimes to go, I don't know, let me think about that. I'll get back to you. Or, I was right in the middle of something else. I'm going to have to kind of sidetrack. Or like here at work, I hate to do it, but sometimes I have to go, hold on, hold that thought right there. I promise I'll circle right back around to you so that I can finish what it is that I'm doing or working on, or complete a task or whatever before I say yes, no, maybe whatever about what they're getting ready to ask me. Then we also talked about JOMO, the joy of missing out. And the joy of missing out is finding joy in something else because you said no to one thing that you either didn't want to do, wasn't going to do, shouldn't be doing, whatever. It's okay to miss out on some things, and sometimes you can find some joy in that. So your homework for last week, and I know I'm talking fast, but we have a lot to go over in the second half, which is actually second 3/4. But your homework for last week was find some JOMO, FINDSOMEJOMO, find some JOMO. And saying no, it doesn't have to be rude or mean. It just means that you're giving yourself permission to find some joy in missing out on something. So that was your homework for last week. Let's see how you did. Lynn found some JOMO this week. So she said they had just about every season that you could possibly have, any season that you could think of. So warm weather, cool weather, cold weather, rainy weather, whatever it was, they had it this week. So she did not miss out. She did not miss out on eating out or anything like that. She found some joy in missing out on some things that she would have done because of the crazy weather that they were having. And she enjoyed a soup made from the veggie drawer on the cold days. And she made salads out of the veggie drawer on the warm days. So she found some joy in that, missing out on normal weather and missing out on some other things. Found some joy in that. And that was absolutely fantastic. Mary finds her JOMO by enjoying a meal at home with her adult children and grandchildren rather than going out to a restaurant. Saves money, saves time. It's a more intimate setting, so they've got more time to talk and play and enjoy each other. You don't feel rushed because the waitress didn't come by, waiting to check and see when she could have the table back. Hello, Marlene. So, I think that's a great one. I think for Mary and for a lot of us, we find some joy in missing out on those eating out activities and just spend some time at home. Just spend some time at home with each other. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. Okay, and then I personally had 4 opportunities for holiday dining this week, but rather than the fear of missing out that I was going to miss a party or miss seeing somebody or whatever, I found some JOMO in picking 2 of the 4 events to actually enjoy as a party festivity, and I approximated the points for those 2 parties. It was a lot, let me tell you, but they were foods that I only get once a year or maybe never again. So we had a German chef here in the showroom for one of them. He's not my friend, but I'd love for him to be my friend soon. But we had a German chef here in the showroom for one of them. I wasn't going to miss out on that, okay? So that was an opportunity I may never have again. I mean, what are the chances that we would have a German chef here in the showroom? And hello, Orlando Debbie, good to see you. So I picked 2 of the events that I knew were going to have food I only get once a year or food that I might not ever see again. And there were things that I really wanted to go to. So I did those, but I found some JOMO because the next 2, one of them is tomorrow night and one of them is Tuesday night. I've already looked up the menus for both places. It's going to be an eating out thing, so there will be no leftovers. There will be nothing for me to take home. I've already looked up the menus for both of them, and I have found lovely salads with either salmon or with a lean steak on top. You know what? And I'm not going to miss out. I'm not going to miss out on all that heavy point-laden things that possibly could have come up if I had not looked at those menus before we went. So bravo to everyone who did their homework this week. Thank y'all for doing your homework this week instead of last week's little fiasco where no one did it. But anyway, I have the hiccups. Hold on. Okay. Maybe they're gone. But bravo everyone. Bravo for doing your homework. We're actually going to jump straight in to part 2 of this week. And that is, the title of this week's chat was 0 Points Power Up. And we were supposed to concentrate on the new 0 Points food that were added to the app last week. But instead, we are going to spend 45-ish minutes talking about all the fun bells and whistles that have been added to the app, taking a little while to dig deeper into that, answering some questions about how some of those things work. Because you all have some questions, and I had some questions. So we're going to spend the next 45 minutes talking about all that. So even though we're at an awkward breaking point here, I'm going to go ahead and stop and put on the apron so that Casey knows this is the stopping point for the second half of the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you all what your homework is, even though we haven't gotten to that point yet. Isn't that crazy? And we're going to drink a little water because I have the hiccups. So your homework for this week, and it's going to make sense when we talk here in a second. Your homework for this week is going to be #OpenYourApp. It's that simple. #OpenYourApp. YOURAPP. So hashtag open your app. I'm not asking you to memorize everything I'm getting ready to say. I'm not asking you all to figure all this out. What I'm asking you to do is just to have an open mind, maybe take a couple of notes from what I'm getting ready to tell you, but then at some point this week, just open your I can't find it. Hold on a second. I don't know what you're saying, Debbie. Show AI. I can't find it. You're going to have to tell me what that means. So anyway, so I'm not asking you to do a lot. I just want y'all to open your app this week. And hopefully what we're getting ready to talk about is going to encourage you to open your app. So let's just take a breath before we dive into the second half, which is actually going to be the second 3 quarters. So everybody stop for just a second. And thank you, Lynn, for posting that. Just stop for a second. Take a little breath because there's a lot to talk about in this second half. So just take a breath. Me too. Drink some water. It's the only time all week that I know that you're drinking. Debbie says, show AI feature on the app. I don't know. So I'm going to write that down as a question. So Debbie wants to know how to show AI feature. Haven't even heard of that, so I'll have to check into that. How to show AI feature on the app. Okay, so great. Thank you, Debbie. That's a question, but we can already have a question kind of in the queue for this coming week. And I feel like I'm dripping. I feel like I am certainly dripping. Okay, everybody get a sip of your water. And I am definitely dripping. Okay, so let's continue. This is the second half of tonight's chat. Again, we're starting about 45 minutes early, not early, we're starting about 15 minutes early because I really think with all of this that it's going to take the full 45 minutes. So I'm only going to read what you all are saying out loud if it pertains to what we're getting ready to talk about, because I'm telling you, this is going to take the full 45 minutes. So we will definitely circle back around to Miss Debbie if we have time today, but for sure sometime this week. Okay, first things first, you have new 0 point foods. There's a new 0 point food list. We talked about this a little bit last week. I went ahead and switched my app. Let's see, hold on. I accidentally touched scanner, so now the app, of course, is wanting me to scan something. So hold on just a second. Okay, I went ahead and hold on, Rosie. I went ahead and switched my app back over to, I toggled off Living with Diabetes. So for those of you who didn't know that I had toggled on Living with Diabetes, we're going to talk about that more in a few minutes, but I wanted to say out loud first, I toggled mine off. So how you do that is if you go under your icon and go under program settings, and then when you go to diabetes settings, I had toggled on Living with Diabetes, even though I'm not diabetic. I have toggled that off because I know that's going to be the first question is, wait a minute, you're not even getting the same ones. You're not even getting the same information because you have that on. I have turned it off just for this chat. Okay, so that answers one question up front. Okay. So that was the first thing I wanted to say, is that I have toggled that off so that we'll all be on the same playing field right now. The second thing is I need you to remember that 0 points does not equal free or unlimited. I just about came out of my seat 2 Sundays ago when I went to go hear Gwen talk about this for the first time. So many people were saying, free, the food is free. Okay, it's not free. It still has calories. So 0 point foods are not, that does not equal free or unlimited. We'll talk about that more in a few minutes. The appearance of any food on the 0 points list does not mean that you have to eat that food. So like my friend Karen doesn't eat meat. Just because there's meat on the 0 points food list does not mean that she has to eat meat, okay? If you don't like eggs, don't eat eggs. You don't have to eat, just because it appears on that list doesn't mean that you have to eat it, okay? And I'm going to give you the complete Hello, Julie. Good to see you. I'm going to give you the complete list of 0-point food categories, and I will note next to them the ones that will not show 0 if you switch over. So if you toggle back on that living with diabetes that I had toggled off, and I'm going to, in my notes, that's living with diabetes, but I shortened it to LWD. So if you read the notes later, just know that LWD is living with diabetes. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this 0 points food list, and I'll show you how to get here in just a second. So this is what your new 0 points food list should look like, and unless you're, and I'll tell you if it's not going to be on this list if you're on living with diabetes, I will point that out. So the first thing is corn and popcorn, and they have a lovely little icon of corn and popcorn. If you are on living with diabetes, that will not even, you won't even have that category. So that category will not show up at all. The next category is eggs. That's any kind of eggs as long as it doesn't have any added oil or sugar. I don't know why you'd put sugar in an egg, but it can't be a cake. It can't be an egg in a cake. Okay, and Sandra, we're going to talk about that here in just a second, or in a few minutes. So, but it can't be like an egg in a cake. So the egg in the cake mix would be 0, but not the cake mix. So eggs, fish, and shellfish. And yes, that would include shrimp. It would include different kinds of fish. Fruits are next. So that is all kinds of fruits. That is not 0 on living with diabetes. You have to count fruit as points on living with diabetes. Lean meats is a new category. So you've never seen that category before at any point in time. So on any Weight Watchers program that I've been on, and I've been doing this for, let's see, Casey's getting ready to be 31, so 29 years, I guess, 28, 29 years. Lean meats has never been on any list that I've ever been on. So lean meats would include things like sirloin, tenderloin, 90% lean ground beef, things like that. That does not include highly processed meat like ham or sandwich meat, things like that. And it does not include, even if it's a sirloin or a tenderloin, it does not include anything that has not had the fat trimmed off of it. So if you get if you get something that you think, oh, that should be 0 points, but you can see that little white marbling still around it, you need to trim that off, or that's not going to be 0 points. Okay. Beans, peas, and lentils is that one. Beans, peas, and lentils. Yeah, those are 0 points. Oats is this next one, and that is oats. That's rolled oats, steel cut oats, oatmeal, quick cook oats, whatever. Oats are 0. They are not 0 on living with diabetes. So that oats is a new category. So it used to be in another category back when we had purple or core or simply filling. It was in another category, but now it's just oats. That category is just oats, but it is not 0 on living with diabetes. Chicken and turkey is the next one. Chicken and turkey, that does now include dark meat poultry, but remember, that's no skin and no fat. So we're not talking, like you can't go to Disney and get a big turkey leg that's still got the skin on it and it's dripping in fat, whatever. That's not a 0 point turkey, turkey leg. So just keep that in mind. Tofu and tempeh is the next one. 2 of my favorites. If you don't like them, just don't eat them. Those are 0 points. Vegetables is the next one, but now it says vegetables, including starchy vegetables or including potatoes. Potatoes and other starchy vegetables are not 0 on living with diabetes. And yogurt and cottage cheese is its own category, but again, not 0 if you have the living with diabetes tab, if you have that toggled over. So that is your 0 point. That is now your 0 points lineup. You can go under any of these. Let me just pick something. So let's say lean meats. You can go under any of these and you can get a list of examples. So look at this lean meats list. That's a pretty darn long list. Okay, so y'all could explore that list by yourself, but that's how you get there. Okay, next up is the scan your food camera. I actually don't have that yet. So my app, where it should be, would be here. So under my day, where I just have the, yes, fat-free cottage cheese, Marlene, where I have just the little scanner, like you would touch this to scan a barcode. Let me see if I can do this upside down. Where you would touch that to scan a barcode. Not every app has, and yeah, Debbie, yogurt is not flavored yogurt, correct? So I don't have the camera yet. Okay, so what I'm getting ready to tell you about the camera is it's secondhand information. So I've played with a couple of other people's phones. I have no idea when I'm going to get the camera. I don't know why some people got it and some people didn't. It seemed like everybody at my Weight Watchers meeting already had it. I have logged out and logged back in. I have deleted the app and reinstalled the app. The only thing I haven't done haven't called support, but it's okay. I'll figure it out. So I've seen it in use, and if you scan your plate, and maybe, when I get mine, I'll show y'all how to do it, but you scan your plate and it will attempt to calculate the points. Super cool. So the people's phones who had it, that we tried it with, we actually pulled up a picture of a recipe that was shown plated, and we tried scanning it that way, and it actually worked pretty well. I'm not going to say it was perfect. The technology is estimated to be about 80% accurate from the scans that I did with other people's phones, not mine because I don't have it yet, but the scans that we did with other people's phones, and with, like, Karen let me use her phone a couple of times last week. I'd say it's about 70% accurate. And the reason that I'm saying that it's about 70% accurate is because it can't know what's in the food, and it has trouble sometimes interpreting things. Okay, Carol Lou says she's used the camera the most this week, and it has been scary accurate. Carol, I think yours has probably been scary accurate because you're eating some pretty whole foods. So, like, I don't think that you're eating a lot of things that are like a mixture of things. So it's pretty straightforward. When I used Karen's, it thought that my butternut squash, it thought that it was sweet potatoes. Okay, I mean, I can see where you got that. Karen tried taking a picture of what kind of a burger was it? It was like a black bean burger, or I forget exactly what it was made out of, at a restaurant here in Knoxville. And when she looked it up, well, no, it was at Red Robin. So whatever that hamburger was at Red Robin, it wasn't meat. The meat part of the patty was 2 points, but the camera interpreted it as an actual hamburger, and she had to go back and correct it, because as an actual hamburger, it thought it was 23 points. Significant difference. So I'm just saying, be careful, okay? So be careful with it. I think it's super cool, and it's going to grow and learn, which terrifies me and excites me at the same time. But anyway, okay. Then I want you to check out the macros. So down here at the bottom, and I think y'all can all see that, down here at the bottom, we've got protein, carbs, fats, fiber, and sodium. Okay, I didn't realize that my mom, for all of those years, that she was using those steno notebooks. If you know what I'm talking about, they've got like a little spiral wire thing at the top, and then the pages flip like this instead of like this. So it's not like a regular notebook, it's like a steno pad. She was an accountant, so I don't know, maybe they use those, but she had hundreds of these steno pads where she had recorded calories. It's like for everything that she ate. She was diabetic, and her doctor had told her she needed to keep a record of what she was eating. I don't think poor Dr. Bilbrey meant this, but bless his heart, he got what he got. When when you told my mom a rule, she was going to follow the rule until, But every day, every food, it had the calories listed, it had the fat listed, it had the sodium listed, it had the carbs listed, it had all the things listed. All of the nutritional information was listed on there. So my mom was tracking macros before anybody even knew what macros were, okay? So it's macronutrients. She was tracking that before it was even cool. So my mom Vegan Nana was so far ahead of her time, it's not even funny. Okay, the macros are listed at the bottom of my day. So if you've been hanging out up here and didn't think you had them, just scroll down and there they are. So I already told you the list of what it is. Like the additional 0-point foods, you can either use this feature or not. It is up to you. So if you don't care anything about the macros, you don't need to be perturbed, okay? You don't need to be aggravated or upset about it. Just keep it up here and don't worry about it. If you don't want them, don't use them. If you want them, they're there. Okay, and it's a daily, it's like a running total of what you put in here. So it changes as you put things in here. So whatever it is I've already got tracked for tomorrow is going to be 29 grams of protein, 32 grams of carbs, 21 grams of fat, 8 grams of fiber, and 974 grams of sodium. So I already know that, okay? Okay, so finally, the recipe pullover. So this one to me is pretty darn exciting. We used to have that when we were on that personal points plan. We had to kind of have that recipe pullover because everybody was on different points, and it was ridiculous. I tried to make you all embrace it, and I tried to make me embrace it, but it was ridiculous. But it was a feature that I think most of us liked, and we're like, no, when it went away. They've brought it back for a completely different reason. So if you want to bring a recipe into your app from any website, it will attempt to calculate the points for you. It's pretty darn accurate. In order for this to work, it either needs to be a recipe website that has a link to pull it over to the WW app, like Hungry Girl, Drizzle Me Skinny, oh my goodness, who are some others? Y'all know who they are. So there are some others that they go ahead and they still put that link in there, link to Weight Watchers points. And a lot of the recipes, you can just go ahead and click on that and it'll open your app. Or it needs to be a website that has nothing to do with Weight Watchers, but it has all the nutritional information listed. I'm going to show you how it works in the question and answer section here in just a second. So just hang with me, because we only have 29 minutes left, and I told you all this was going to take up like the whole time, okay? And it really is. I'm scared. Yeah, pound dropper. Thank you, Susie. That's a good one. I'm scared that I'm not going to get through all of these initial questions, so I'm just going to keep talking really, really fast. As you have questions, Lynn, it has to have a .com in the address. What do you mean? So it can't be like .net? Skinny Taste is a good one, Debbie. Okay, so it can't have, hold on a second. So it can't be like .net or something else? I'll check that out too. Okay, so .com only. I've got that as a question mark. But as you all have questions, yeah, Skinny Taste is a good one, Roberta. So as you all have questions, or if you have more questions, or if I say something and it generates another question, keep posting the questions. I might not stop and answer it tonight, but I would love to go check these out. So like Lynn says, no, .com, it has to be .com only. So I'll be checking that out because that's something I didn't know. Thank you, Lynn. Okay, first question I got was, okay, well, it was like, so how does all this work? So what is this? Sarah was our guinea pig. Unintentionally, she didn't mean to be our guinea pig, but Sarah called the 800 number for Weight Watchers and got onto a chat and tried to get some help figuring all this out. And they are so overwhelmed. They are so overwhelmed with people. I think they were nice and polite, but they basically were like, okay, move on. You know, we've got to get somebody else on the phone. So I went through a lot of those questions here. First question was, will my daily or weekly points allowance, and yes, you were, Sarah, will my daily or weekly points change with the addition of these new 0-point foods? That answer is no. Your daily and weekly points are not going to change, and it won't change how they calculate them based on the new 0-point foods. Now, as you lose weight, your points might go down. As we get older, our points will change. I don't think any of us are going to get any taller, so it's probably not going to change for that. But because of the new 0-points food list, that is not that one event that is not going to change your daily or your weekly points. But that was a fantastic question because that was a good one. Because you'd have thought, oh great, we get more 0-point foods, we're all going to get like 20 dailies. No, it does not change. Second question, a new 0-point food showed up as points when I entered it. Why? So why? So this happened to several people. It also happened to me. This is still new, and like any significant programming changes, there will be glitches. It's unavoidable. I don't care how many times they run through it. I don't care. And we've got a lot of people on here that are data programmers, the people that do troubleshooting, on programs like this. Stuff happens. Life happens. I always say that it's a solar flare. that's probably not even I mean, I know solar flares are real, but that's probably not a real thing to to cause any computer problems, but it's just easier to say it's a solar flare. So yeah, and that's exactly right, Debbie. With the purple planet, it did reduce. So why? Just breathe. It's just they'll work on them as they work on them, and it'll all get sorted out. Just breathe. I saw one 0-point food, one of the brand new 0-point foods, come up as points when this person, but like when the person looked for it, it came up as points. But when they tracked it, it changed to 0. I saw another one come up as 0. When they tracked it, it changed to points. And then it was weird. Like when they refreshed their day, it went back to 0. I can't explain that. Just know for a little bit, you're going to have to double check everything. So let me see if I can get one to do it real quick. So let's see, like, let me pick something like a sweet potato. Sweet potato. Nope, it's in a good mood now. So, nope, this one's not going to do it. Basically what happened was whatever that person put in, and then the one that I did, it came up as points. Oh, hold on. Yeah, Gremlins. Gremlins is a great one, and don't water them. And hello, Catherine. Do not water them after midnight, by the way, Debbie. Okay, let me see. Maybe it was ground hamburger, and I don't want to, nope, it has fixed itself now too. So ground hamburger was the one I did, and when it came up as 2 points for the 90% lean ground hamburger, and as soon as I tracked it, it went to 0. So it is Gremlins, it's a solar flare, it's whatever. Okay, the next question was, do 0, I have to stop and read this one twice. Do 0-point foods ever equal points? Hello, Ann. Ann, are you in Indiana? Is that what you're saying? What? Do the 0-point foods, so any 0-point foods, do they ever equal points? And that's no. I have mixed feelings about this, but it just is what it is, and I have to know it, so no. This is where you have to be careful with this generous new list. Oh, that's funny. It's okay, Ann. This is where you have to be careful with this generous new list of 0-point foods. I changed my app until I changed it for the chat, but I'll change it back after. I changed my app to Living with Diabetes, even though I'm not diabetic, because I need to be more accountable with some of the already 0-point foods. For an example, and I know this is not a pointed food, but an example of just of 0-point foods not ever being points. So 1 egg is 0 points. 6 eggs is also 0 points. But 1 egg is 75 calories. 6 eggs is 429 calories. So just because it's 0 points doesn't mean that it's all you can eat, okay? So just keep that in mind as we're going through this, because we have a lot of new things available to us. And Orlando Debbie says, yes, do an estimate serving size, not scooping freely. That's exactly right. So like I will be counting potatoes. I cannot be trusted with the potato. If you ask my the unintelligent part, like the intelligent part of my brain understands that a new potato is quite different than an Oak Ridge baked potato, and if you live near here, you know what I mean. But yeah, so or like 2 cups of popcorn of air pop popcorn is different than 5 cups of air pop popcorn. But I can't be trusted with it. I need accountability for it, so that's why I had to change mine. Just start with a serving, see how you feel about it, and then if you want more, you can always have more. But 0 does not equal free, or does not equal free for all. Okay. The next question, do we have to use the macros? So again, the macros were here. They were down here at the bottom. Do we have to use the macros? You certainly do not have to use the macros. So nope, you do you, boo. You do not have to do the macros if you don't want to. But I gotta tell you, it's some pretty interesting information. Like, I think I'm pretty good at holding down my sodium. This has been shocking how fast the sodium has added up. which leads me to the next question. Is there a recommended number for any of the items shown under macros, either a maximum or a minimum for any of these things? Technically, no. Technically, no, not through Weight Watchers. So Weight Watchers does not have a published. Okay, so Sarah says, what are macros? I feel dumb. Great question, because I felt dumb too. I had no idea that that's what my mom was doing. My mom listed every single one of these items for every single food that she ate. And this has been decades ago, and gave them to her poor doctor who just wanted her to record what she was eating for her diabetes. But macros, as it turns out, are macronutrients. And there are certain people doing certain things, and I'm going to explain this as I'm answering this question, who need this information. So Weight Watchers, as a company, does not have a published recommended guide on macros specifically yet. Who knows? They might do that. But they're showing this data for those of us or those of you who are using this in a specific way. So there are some of you who want to know how much protein you've eaten in a day. Some of you do much better if you've had a certain amount of protein. So now everything that you track, it's going to calculate how many grams of protein are in that, and you're going to see that here under protein. And if you click on that, it's going to show you, it is going to show you what you've eaten today and how many grams of protein it has, and it's going to show you what percentage of the what percentage you consumed for each meal. Again, you don't have to use this. You don't have to use this. Okay, but it's extremely interesting information. Hold on, let me go back to that. Okay, so I know this sounds like a non-answer, but as an example, I try to stay under a certain milligrams of sodium per day and above a certain number of grams of fiber. Those are guidelines that I have established for me based on my health, how I do on the program, how much I weigh, and my parents' health histories. It is not an official number. It's not an official number that was given by Weight Watchers, but it's numbers that are important to me. So because I tend to retain water like both of my parents did, I try to keep my sodium under a certain amount. And because everything just moves better for me, and y'all, if you've been around long enough, you know what I mean. Everything moves better for me if I eat a certain amount of fiber, or more. That's important information to me. The rest of it is just interesting information. Okay. So if you don't need them, don't use them. If you need them, they're there. They're there. But there is Weight Watchers does not have a set amount that you were supposed to be shooting for. So don't look anywhere in your app for that. It's not in there yet. And I'm not saying it's coming, but who knows? Okay. Next question was, will my recipes I've saved already update by themselves? The answer is yes and no. Okay. So let me show you what I mean and how to fix it if this happens to you. Let's see now, because some of my things just updated themselves. So I went to the first thing I tried. I went to under my profile picture, and then I went to recipes, and then I found a recipe that was created by me and touched there. And then I did. Let me just find one that I'm curious to see if it updated because we've had. Because of something that would be 0 points now. So let's see. Let me try to find something with corn in it. So corn. Okay. So I had a black bean, tomato, and corn salad tostada. That was a recipe that I created, and it has. Let's see. There are 8 servings, and it has 1 point for some olive oil that I used. And then everything else on here is now 0 points. Okay, I don't know if you can see this or not. It's still showing 1 point. 1 divided by 8 is not 1, okay? So this still thinks that the corn, this recipe that I put in, it technically has not updated yet. All of the ingredients that are 0 now have updated to 0, but the recipe itself is still showing 1. So here's how I tricked one earlier. I clicked on the edit and I went into the edit and found one of the ingredients. So let's find the corn. I clicked on corn, updated it, even though I didn't really change anything. And I saved the recipe, and it wants to know if you want to save it as the original. I put save as original. Oh no, something went wrong. Oh no, hold on. You can't have what in the world? You can't have something go wrong while I'm trying to show live. Hold please. Let me see if I can change some other detail about it. Like that I'm going to eat 2 servings. No, just kidding. I'm just going to eat 1 serving. It serves 8. I'm going to leave that as 8. Let me see if I can get it. Let me see if I can trick it into saving. Okay, now where it says save as original or save as new, that was normal. So I'm going to, oh my goodness. Okay, so gremlins, like Debbie said, gremlins. So apparently there are some gremlins on this. And it is not going to let me do this. So, I'll have to show you that one later. Anyway, thanks, gremlins. So I tricked it earlier because it was something that I think it had 90% lean ground beef in it. And I went in, just touched that ingredient, came back out, and it changed it to 0 points like it should be. So this one's just going to prove that there are still little glitches. So I'll have to show y'all later how to do that. Okay. Okay, is there a recommended minimum? I did save this new, Susie, and it said there's an error. It said, oops, there's an error on, like we're having an error. It's not you, it's me, is what Weight Watchers just said. So the next question was, is there a recommended minimum number of points to be eaten daily? Okay, so if you go, and that was a great question because, I mean, these are some new updates. So yeah, so how do you know are there any minimums? So we're still doing blue dots. The blue dots are a general idea. Yeah, and I could also delete that and try item and try to re-add it. Well, so it was an issue with the app. So I will try that again. Let's try to circle back to that one. We only have 13 minutes. I knew it. I knew we were not going to be able to get through all these, but I'll try. So we'll regroup. We'll regroup and circle back to that one in a minute. So we're still doing the blue dots. The blue dots are 7 points under or 7 points over what your daily allowance is. They want you to kind of stay in that range. That range, you do not have to. Again, that is just a guideline. If you are eating a lot of 0 point foods and you're happy, you're satisfied, you're full, your weight loss is good, then don't worry about if you're not getting a blue dot. Don't go eat something to push yourself into the blue dot just to get a blue dot. Okay, that's not a reason to get a blue dot. And I like to watch this. I like to kind of watch this trend, but I try not to be obsessed with it because like for a couple of days, I went way out of my budget because of holiday eating, like for Thanksgiving, way out of my budget on Thursday and Friday, but I knew I was going to, and I tracked it and I accounted for it, and it was nice to see. I didn't get wound up about it. Oh no, I didn't get a blue dot. Likewise, if you don't get a blue dot from eating under a certain amount of points. So there's not technically a recommendation, but if you go down here and click on down to the bottom and you click on progress, the blue dot, a solid blue dot, means that you stayed within that healthy eating, what they consider to be a healthy eating range. If you have a gray dot, it means you tracked, but you ate outside of your range. And if you have an open circle with no color in it, that means you just didn't track that day. You just didn't track anything that day. So there's no minimum. There's nothing that says, perfection, whatever. It's just a general idea. Okay, the next one, will my recipe, oh no, we already did that. How do I import a recipe? Okay, let me show you. So I'm gonna pop out here to the internet. Oops, hold on. I'm gonna pop out here to the internet and find a recipe. So we're gonna go to Skinny Taste. A couple of you all mentioned Skinny Taste. And, or actually, you know what? I already had Chocolate Covered Katie pulled up. So Chocolate Covered Katie has this crustless pumpkin pie recipe, and I want to import it into my app. So you're going to do the share button, and you're going to copy, because you're going to copy that URL, okay? And then you're going to go back over to your Weight Watchers app. Okay, and when you're in your Weight Watchers app, hold on, I want to show you where to go. Wow, it's being glitchy. Okay, now it's just hung up. So hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so when you're in your Weight Watchers app, you're going to go to your icon again, and you're going to go to recipes. And then once you get to recipes, you're going to touch this plus sign, and you're going to add a recipe from the web. So you can either create your own recipe, or you can add a recipe from the web. That's the one we're going to do. And it wants to know what that URL is. And Lynn has said that it has to be a .com. So trust me, I'll be checking that, not tonight, but another day. And then you touch in there, and if you need to type in that URL, and that's just its address, that's the address where you found this recipe, you can type it in, or you can paste. And because I had copied it, we can paste, and you're going to import the recipe. So when you get done, it should name it. So this is crustless pecan pie, the best original recipe. That is what she had it named. That is what Chocolate Covered Katie had it named. So it just named it the same thing that she did. Yeah, so you've imported a recipe. You can do a couple of things with this. If you want to favorite this recipe, you can. So you can save it. And then this little icon right here, that little kind of flag looking thing, you can touch that, and you can favorite that recipe. So you can do that. So you can save it, or you can save it and favorite it. Or if you don't like one of the ingredients that Chocolate Covered Katie has in there, you can touch this little pencil. And let's say, okay, so she's got 1 cup of whole milk. So I'm going to change it, and I'm going to say it is going to be a half of a cup. Now, I'm not really going to change this. I'll change it back. So I'm going to say that it is a half of a cup. So I only want a half of a cup of whole milk, or I could change it to, I could change the ingredient. I could get rid of whole milk, and I could change it to a whole cup of skim milk or something like that. And then when I save it, it's going to ask, do you want to save this as the original recipe, or do you want to save this as the new recipe? If you're going to change something about it and you want to save it as new, I'm going to say change something about the name. So I did one earlier, and I just altered it to say my version, or without meat, or something like that, so that I knew, okay, that's not the original recipe. That's, something else. Okay, so that's how you save it. I don't really want to change this recipe, so I'm going to get out of that. And I'm going to go ahead and close it without saving, because I didn't really want to change it. But then the next question was, okay, I saved it, and now where is it? Like, how do I find this? So you got 2 options on how to find this. You're going to go back to recipes. So let's go back to where the recipes are. That is under your icon, and you're going to go to recipes. And then once you're here on recipes, you can go to 2 different places. You can go to recipes created by you. I hope y'all can see that. And it is going to show recipes that are created by us, and that's because I changed it. So recipes created by you, I made a slight change to it, and we're going to look for crustless. So crustless pumpkin pie is right there. I can make my changes from there, or the other way to find it, if you go to saved recipes, remember that little flag shape? Because I touched that, because I added that flag, I can go to saved recipes, and it is the first thing on the saved recipes. Can y'all see that? So if you import a recipe, I would go ahead and save it. And if you don't like it, just unsave it later. Like if you make it and decide you don't like it, just unsave it later. But that's the easiest place, if you ask me, is just to go ahead and hit that little, it's that little flag. It looks like a little banner or whatever, then you can find it under saved recipes. Okay, 6 minutes. Okay, the next question was, how do you find your current 0 points food list? You go back. Okay, you're gonna go to your icon again. You are going to go to, oops, hold on. I can't see this upside down. So when you go to your little icon, oh, right here, it says 0 point foods. So you can touch there and it's gonna bring up your entire 0 points food list. And if you are unsure about something, so we're gonna do the lean meats again. If you touch that, again, it's gonna give you quite the extensive list of things that count under that. So that is one way to find 0 points. You can also go to what to eat down here at the bottom. And you see this little tab right here that says 0 point foods? Touch that. And it'll take you right back to that same place. So there's 2 different ways that you can get to that one too. Okay, next question is one that I asked myself. What if I have multiple devices that I use to access the app? Well, that was a question that I asked myself because I had to update both of them. So I use this tablet and I use my phone, and I had to go through and update both of them. So okay, Carol, I'll have to circle back and check on that one. Last question that I have, and then we're going to try and trick that recipe into updating real quick because we only have 4 minutes left. The last question for tonight, because I knew we were going to run out of time, was what is the little icon? Let me go back to the home page. What is the little clinic icon in the bottom right-hand corner? If you would like more help or need to meet with a registered dietitian online, you can click that and then you can see if your insurance will cover telehealth with WW Clinic. I haven't done it. I don't think I need to. Have any of you all done that? Is there anybody that can give us any insight on that? Anybody? While you all are thinking about that, I'm going to go back to my recipes. I'm going to go back to a created by me recipe that has corn in it, and I'm going to see real quick before we go. So the black bean, tomato, and corn salad tostada. Yes, Marlene wants to know if cottage cheese, the fat-free cottage cheese, is 0. Yes, unless you're on living with diabetes, and then it is not 0. Okay, so I am again going to do what we did just a second ago. I'm going to click on corn. Oh wait, sorry. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to click on corn. I'm going to update it. And I'm going to see if it'll let me save it. Nope, something went wrong. Okay, so there is something wrong. So we will have to revisit that here in at another time because it is still not letting me update that recipe. But that is what I had to do a few days ago, the first time that I checked to make sure that some of my recipes that I use a lot, that they had updated. I didn't have to trick it into it. They might be fixing that. That may be why it's saying, it says, oops, something went wrong. We're having some difficulty. Please try again later. So maybe they're fixing that. Maybe they're tweaking that, and that's why I'm getting that error. Okay, so I hope that answered all of your original questions. Again, if you have more, please let me know. I love to answer questions. I love to find things out. I love to ask questions. I like to do a little investigative, things and, find out what is going on. So thank y'all very much for being here. I look forward to playing with this some more this coming week because it has been super fun. I'm hoping that I get the camera this week because we're going out to eat tomorrow night and Tuesday night, and I've already again done some preliminary investigating and have pre-calculated my points, and I just want to take the picture. I just want to scan the picture and see if it will check it, see how close it is, to see if it's better than that, what I think is a 70% accuracy rate. But if you're watching this on YouTube, that's just youtube.com, search If You Have an Egg. Please go ahead and click that, or let that next video roll over, click that little icon to subscribe, and go ahead and hit the bell so that you'll know when our next video is coming out. For the rest of you, thank you so much for being here. We are going to cook something from our 0 points, from our new added 0 points food list. We'll be cooking something next week, so I know Sarah is sitting at her house going, woo! because we're going to cook something next week. But yeah, so y'all have a great week, and I will see you next time. Thanks for being here. Let me know if you have any questions. Put it in the comments. I'll try to answer it as best as I can. But y'all have a great, let's see where, oh, hold on real quick. Susie wants to know where the camera is located. She popped in while I was trying to show you all. Mine has not updated, Susie, so I don't have the camera. But real quick, I'll show you where it should be. If you go to My Day, where the little scanner is for a barcode, that is where the camera should be. I don't have a camera yet, so when I get mine, I'll show you where it is. But y'all have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Good night.